I think DC's getting its swagger back. Oh! Because we just got a whole bunch of insane news and updates for the future of the DC universe, including a new look at Supergirl, updates for the Batman Part 2, the Wonder Woman DCU movie, and James Gunn teasing what his big event in the DC universe is gonna be. And I'm letting you know right now, some of this news is really gonna shock you. But either way, me and you know what we gotta do. We gotta talk about it. Off Ripsky, I'm feeling frisky. Let's look up? Nah, let's look out. Because today, the main head honcho himself, James Gunn, gave us our first official teaser poster for the Supergirl movie, and everything about it is perfect. Perfect down to every little detail. It gives you the vibe for what this movie's gonna feel like, and you already know it's gonna be adapting Supergirl 1 of tomorrow, so it's gonna be a little bit darker in tone. And whoever's idea it was to have the main movie tagline for Superman be used here, but instead of look up, it's look out. I hope you're having a great day and your biggest enemy stubbed their toe. Because like I said before, this poster tells you everything you need to know about the DCU's version of Kara Zor-El, and she's wearing the iconic fit from Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, where literally within the first page you see her as a drunk, going from red sun to red sun to be able to get drunk. Because on the surface, when you first look at this, it kind of looks like that first Shazam poster. Letting you know right now, this movie is not going to have the same vibe as Shazam. For starters, this is going to be a much more intergalactic story, filled with extremely dark moments and trauma. So the red on her fingers could be a double entendre. Not just the paint for the wall, but you know what? Because she likes to fight dirty. And if you didn't think Millie Alcock herself was excited, she posted this on Instagram. Reposted this on Instagram, I should say. And it's just perfectly capturing the vibe of Kara Zor-El in that run. Plus, we're getting more crypto in that movie. Absolute cinema 10 out of 10, no notes. And all I'm gonna say about crypto is if you know, you know. And the other reason I'm excited for Supergirl is because while it's gonna be an adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow, they're gonna be adding different elements, like adding Jason Momoa's Lobo, which by the way, in case you didn't know, Jason Momoa is playing Lobo, which is a 10 out of 10 casting. It's perfect. But Lobo actually never appeared in this book. He was actually supposed to appear in this book, but Tom King wasn't able to squeeze him in, so he's adding that into this movie. So I'm really curious what his role is gonna be. But either way, this is the perfect first look for Supergirl. And remember, look out! Moving on to some more super news. According to Variety, a Wonder Woman movie is being fast-tracked over at DC Studios. Now, if you remember, a few weeks back, James Gunn actually said that Wonder Woman and Batman are important pillars of his DC universe, but he said whenever they have good scripts is when they're going to be made. So it looks like they've found a good script, and now all of the pieces are coming together. Now we need to get our creatives around the team, a good director, and we also need to cast our new Wonder Woman. Y'all already know who I would love to see in a role, so I'm going to just leave it at that. Now, the interesting thing for this story is that it's not going to be an origin story because we already know that Themyscira exists thanks to Creature Commandos, which featured a newscast of Amazonians on the screen, so we very well could be working with a Diana Prince that's already been in action, very similarly to Superman. Now, I'm praying and hoping that they redeem Cersei, who was nerfed to hell in Creature Commandos, mainly so I can see Anya Chilatra, who voiced Cersei, play her in live action as well, but also so I can see her full capabilities in live action for the first time. Either way, I'm so glad we're most likely going to get the most faithful adaptation to a Wonder Woman we've ever seen on the screen. And we're one crazy head place. Man, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. But this gets us 2 steps closer to seeing the DCU's version of the Trinity in live action. But who could be the Batman? Don't forget, when James Gunn announced his first slate, Gods and Monsters, he said there was going to be a Batman Brave and the Bold directed by Andy Muschietti. Since then, we've literally had maybe 1 or 2 updates. I still don't even think this movie's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be Batman Brave and the Bold. I do not think Andy Muschietti is gonna be attached. I personally think Batman in the DC universe is up in the air. They're waiting to see what shoe drops. Because again, I go back to James Gunn's comments saying that once we have a good script for Batman, we will make it. What do you mean, James? You already announced Batman Brave and the Bold. So that means they could still be toying with the script, or which version of Batman could be in the DC universe. Because another big update we got about is the Batman Part 2, where it said that Warner Brothers, DC Studios, and James Gunn himself, who's already read the script, are very thrilled with the script that Matt Reeves and Mattson Tomlin turned in. And listen, man, I'm not saying that the Batman, Robert Pattinson, and Matt Reeves are going to be joining the new DC universe. I'm just saying it could happen. And where there's smoke, there's fire. Outside of some personal issues that Matt Reeves has been dealing with, having a potential into the DC universe could explain why this movie took so long to write and why it's been delayed over and over and over again. And the longer James Gunn waits to confirm a DCU version of the Batman with an actual writer, director, and a good script, and a new cast member, these capes are going to be the only ones fanning those flames. I'm still 50-50 on whether or not this could actually work in the DC universe. I mean, definitely aesthetically and dynamic-wise on the surface level, the juxtaposition between their 2 worlds, and both David Cornsweet and Robert Pattinson interacting with each other, it could definitely work. But obviously, there's way more nuance to it than just that. But we're talking about the same studio that canceled the Batgirl movie to recoup as much money for tax purposes. Do you think they're going to actively want 2 different versions of Batman out in theaters? I have the answer you're looking for, and it's no. While I personally think it could work, this is a business at the end of the day. All David Zaslav cares as a suit is if these movies can make money. And guess how much money the Batman made? Damn near $800 million. And just the thought of putting these 2 together would generate an insane amount of hype and moolah. Plus, I'm not going to sit here and act like we can't make this version of Batman more fantastical. This is only his 2nd year. Now, there would have to be a lot of creative liberties on Matt Reeves' side to try to make that happen. And that's really why I'm on the fence about this because if we have to sacrifice Matt Reeves' creative vision, then I'm not for it. But then again, it's like, well, that would only happen if they team up together in a World's Finest movie. You can still have him be a part of the DC universe and still keep this tone in his solo movies, but have him act just a little bit different when he joins ensemble teams. Plus, just watch Mickey 17. scene, that would be Robert Pattinson showing us his more fun version of Batman. But again, I don't really care either way. I just need a Batman that moves like Arkham Batman for real. And one that has a Bat family. But that's why I never really liked Batman Brave and the Bold, because we're skipping straight to Damian. But on the other hand, we could already have Red Hood, Nightwing. Could be cool. Now moving on to a direct quote from the head honcho of DC Studios himself, James Gunn. He said that the DCU is building towards a big event that is not what anyone is expecting after Superman. But he did give us a little bit of crumbs and said that if people watch the next season of Peacemaker, which is a nice plug to go watch Peacemaker Season 2, very smart, James, let's see what you're doing there. I'm familiar with your game. They'll see where a lot of these things are going. And outside of a clear and obvious plug for his next project, he ain't lying, because we're definitely getting multiversal in Peacemaker Season 2. There's 2 versions of John Cena! So we gotta find out what the fuck is going on here. Now, a popular theory is that they could be doing Earth 3, which if you don't know is basically just an inverse of universes. Heroes are the villains and the villains are the heroes, which could be an interesting backdoor way for Ultraman to become the actual Ultraman from the comics, and maybe that's where he went in the black hole. You know, I still personally prefer if he ends up being Doomsday somehow, and I've come around to him possibly becoming Bizarro, but either way, this could be a very interesting event. That is nothing the MCU has done yet, but either way, only time will tell. I'm still hoping that we get Brainiac as the overarching villain of this first phase of Gods and Monsters. Just given the fact that he's out there in the universe as an alien artificial intelligence, just imagine all the seeds he's planting. He's literally one of, if not the smartest character in DC Comics. He could literally be the one pulling all the strings. But only time will tell. Finally, ending up with an update on... So far, the film has grossed $155 million at the box office domestically and $250 million worldwide. Its track and earn between $55 and $62 million, which is about a 65 to 55% drop-off, which would mean it's looking at around $300 million in its second weekend, which is good. We need this movie to be profitable because this is the jumpstart for the new DC universe, and they need to make dollars in order for this universe to make sense. And Warner Brothers, from a business perspective, is looking at trying to recoup as much money as they can from all the recent DCEU flops from the recent past. We also got Variety out here pocket watching everyone. They're reporting that James Gunn paid himself $15 million to direct Superman. It was revealed that both David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan made $750,000 for their roles, and Nicholas Hoult was the highest earning actor at $2 million, which makes a lot of sense since Nick Hoult has worked in a lot of big productions in Hollywood. But this is interesting nonetheless. James, I will literally play Kyle Rayner for free. But that's all the new news and updates we got about the future of the DC universe. Let me know what you think about my thoughts, theories, and opinions down in the comments below. And as always, like and follow for more. Shout out to James Gunn for putting me onto another song that I never thought I would listen to, because I've had Punk Rocker by the Teddy Bear stuck on shout out to Zendaya replay, because I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. And the context of the scene is even more beautiful. Plus it's a nice little through line throughout the movie that gets paid off at the end that I love. Love, 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 all through our